Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? You know it is the real one, always 100, Gabriel Skywalker from the DFS Club. Coming to you, not with a slate. I'm coming at you with a UFC legend, the toughest man to ever walk an octagon. Smiling, Sam. All of you, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me on.
Oh, my goodness. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on, man, and a privilege. How's the weather down there, man? I know we're both in California. It's kind of cold up here.
Actually, right now I'm in Tennessee.
Oh,
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm late getting on is my time zones are all mixed up. Um, yeah, my good friend Tom Galicchio, he just moved out here. He's opening his gym. And so I came out for a few days to help him get his gym set up. We're tearing down walls and redoing electricity and all that stuff. So I'm just helping my buddy in Tennessee for a few days.
oh, nice. He's like, you want to help me move? And knowing you, yeah, sure, I'll come help you move.
I got out of the helping him move because I was fighting in Abu Dhabi as he was moving. So I said, well, I got to do something. So I think I got the easy part of the deal. Just come down and tear down some walls.
Yeah, well, that's the fun part, right? Destruction.
Yes.
So your last fight against Dan Unjung, I picked you to win in my prediction video. One of the few people that did. Actually, I'm one of the only people that do DraftKings, FanDuel, like fantasy sports for UFC on
Yeah.
YouTube. Um, I think you won. I think you won those first two rounds. And the third round was still kind of close, but what's your perspective on that?
So I watched the fight 7 or 8 times now, and in no universe did I lose that fight. It was a good fight. So I mean, it was a good fight. Round 1, 2, and 3, they were all good rounds. Uh, but I won. I outstruck him in all rounds. I did lose round 3. I definitely lost round 3, but it was close. It was not a 10-8 round. It was. It should. I don't get. I hate 10-8 rounds. I've always hated 10-8 rounds. It's just they don't make any sense. The judge's job is it's not that difficult. And then one of the judges called it 10-8, and for the first time in 70 something fights, I get a draw.
Yeah, that was one of the other questions I was going to ask you. As far as like the scoring system they have now with these 10-8s, I mean, you almost have to. I mean, that kind of takes a round away from you, doesn't it?
They're absolute shit rounds. Pardon my language. It's just
No,
they're
please,
garbage.
it's encouraged.
Yeah, yeah. It's garbage. In an MMA fight, you have 3 or 5 rounds. 10-8 round ruins the fight. I mean, it just changes the outcome of a fight. In boxing, when you have 1-10-8 round, you have 12 rounds or 11 rounds to make it up. It's different for boxing. If MMA had 12 rounds or however many rounds, a 10-8 round wouldn't matter so much. But here, 1-10-8 round just changes it. And if you look at the criteria they use for 10-8 rounds is nobody knows it. The official rules are the judges are supposed to score each round independently. But then the 10-8 rounds, well, if more damage happens in one round, then you have to go back and assess what happened in the previous rounds. And if it's more damage than you gave it, it's just garbage. And I can't stand them. And I think they're ruining the sport, at least the scoring part. They're making it, they're just ridiculous.
Are there any talks with Dana White or anything as far as like changing that, or no?
Not as far as I know. I know I bitch to anyone that'll listen, but who am I?
Who are you? You're the legend, man. Come on
I
now.
the one and only, but I don't give. I'm great in the cage. Outside of the cage, I don't have much to say about anything.
Yeah, I mean it's rare. I mean you've been, and dare I say, I sat up last night and watched a lot of your older fights because I've seen them before, but I had to watch them again. And a lot of those decisions that you lost, I don't think you lost. And that's a scar on your record. And when it goes to the judges, man, you just never freaking know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I understand. I have a style that's not great for judging. I back up a lot. I'm not a high output guy, and I understand that. But I'm kind of with you. I did win my last fight. I won that fight. Ryan Spann,
Yes.
I feel I won that fight. It was close, and I don't
Yes.
complain about that. It was another good fight, but it was close. The fight before that, again, I thought I won too. I thought I did more. I was on top. I had a mount. I thought and I lost that one. and then we get into the Mark Goddard saga where he keeps stopping my fight. So I hate making excuses. So that whole last sentence or two I said, I hate all of it. I lost. I need to quit losing. I need to stop letting it go to the judges. I need to not get hit. But I still hate this. I hate the scoring system.
Trust me, we all do, man. I'm just like, poor Sam. I mean, the nicest guy. I'd say the nicest guy in the UFC. Everybody knows that. You're the people's champion. I'll say that. You go into the crowd. Everybody wants to touch you. Everybody wants to take a picture, and you stop and you do that for all these fans. And that's, I don't want to say it's rare, but I've never seen anything like that in any sport. And God bless you for doing that, man. And I've always said, athletes, musicians, if you treat your fans well, your fan base is just going to grow. And well, believe me, when you go in any arena and they're cheering, I don't care anywhere in the world, you are the people's champion, Sam.
Yeah, I realize I wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for those fans coming to watch me. I will give them anything I can. And all my social media pages, I say, if you want an interview, just ask. I'll always give interviews. I say yes. Hey, you're my third interview today.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, I just say yes to everyone because listen, without you guys, I wouldn't have a job. So I really appreciate every person that tunes in to watch me fight. And here's something funny. Backstage, there's a Sam Alvey rule. After every fight, when there are people around, I always sneak out of the green room and I go take photos with the fans. I just want,
Great.
and I never say I just wander around until people recognize me, and they'll line up. They'll just, I mean, at some points there'll be 200 people lined up to take a photo with me backstage during the UFC fights, and so the UFC has made an official rule where I'm not allowed to do that. So, so now to do that, I have to leave. I have to say I'm going back to the hotel, and then from the hotel I have to get back to the arena to take the photos.
Well, that's
So
good to know.
I still find a way to do it, but it's more work now.
That's good. I'm in San Jose, so next time you guys come and play at the next time you guys come to the Shark Tank when everything opens back up again, now I know. I'm gonna be looking for you, man.
Yeah, you
Um,
find me. Find me.
absolutely. How was now? And I don't know how it's. I think your wife. God bless. I mean, you're a winner in life, Sam. Like I told Miranda, right? You have a supermodel as a wife, but she is one of the best corner people I've seen in the business. Her advice to you is always on point, man. How does she know so much about the fight game?
She started taking the fight game a lot more serious than I did, a lot sooner than I did. Um, she was at first she was my corner because if she was my corner, it was a free ticket. She got to I got to bring her to the fight for free. We didn't have to buy a ticket, and she started. I mean, immediately earning her wages. She immediately learned how to rap hand. She learned how to do everything. She started watching fighters, paying attention to what they're doing. That she watches fights with me. The whole reason I moved to Southern California to train with Dan Henderson and the guys is because she did all the research on a dozen or so different gyms and decided which one would be best for me. Um, so she is from the very beginning taken a huge interest in the sport, particularly me. And so now I've got over 70 fights. If I have 70, she's been my corner for 69 of them.
Yeah.
Um, she's only missed one, and that was because of COVID, the first COVID fight. But she's been with everyone. She knows me. She understands fighting, and I love that people get to hear her give me some advice between rounds.
Yeah, and I see you. I notice your coaches will talk to you, and then the last person you look to is her. You'll do this, and then what comes out of her mouth, she's just knows what's going on, and because it's a fight, anything's going on, but she knows exactly what she's talking about, and she sees how it's going, and she gives you the best advice. I think so. I'm sorry, nothing against the coaches, but I think she's the most on it. So,
They
man,
work so well together. All my coaches, Gustavo, Coach Joe, Dan, they're
yeah.
all great. They all know what they're talking about, and they all know how to help me get that win.
Man, if I had my wife in my corner, man, oh, I'd probably lose. She'd be,
Oh, if I lose, she just said, well, you should have listened to me better.
You just can't win. So how do they treat you in Fight Island, man? I've seen clips, I've seen videos that look gorgeous, the racetrack going through the hotel. Did you get the
Yeah,
5-star treatment, man, that I saw everybody
I
getting?
yes, I really did. It was such a nice. atmosphere, and the island was far more. I mean, it was an established island. There was infrastructure. There were hotels and condos and racetracks. And when I first heard of Fight Island, I thought it was going to be like a deserted island with a UFC tent on it. That's what I was expecting. I got there, and it was just. I mean, the food was wonderful. The UFC spared no expense, making sure we were comfortable and able to train the entire trip. It was just wonderful.
That's awesome. Yeah, I automatically when I first heard about it, a lot of people on social media we thought of like Bloodsport or those Jean-Claude Van Damme movies where you got to take the little boat to get to the island,
Oh, it
and
was the Kumite. That's what I was
the
expecting.
Kumite. There we go. There we go. Um, but you fought all around the world, so you're used to traveling. My God, man, you've been to Mexico City, you've been to Abu Dhabi, Australia. So
Yeah.
go ahead, Sam.
I've got 20 fights now in the UFC, and I believe 13 or 14 of those fights have been out of country. And then the times I have fought in country was literally as far away from me as possible. It was like northern Maine, northern New York, southern Florida. Um, so even when I fought in country, it was always away from where I am. San Antonio and Denver were probably the two closest fights I've had to where I live. But I've always been the guy that likes to see other cultures, other countries.
And that's amazing, man. I mean, I've barely been out of California myself. I heard Houston's gorgeous. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've not been to Houston. San Antonio is great. They've got this river walk, and it was just beautiful.
Oh yes, I heard about the river. Yeah, one day I'll get out of this state and actually go see the country a little bit. What was your favorite place out of all the countries, states, whatever? What was your favorite place?
Mexico City. I fought there
Yeah,
twice. And I fought there back to back, almost to the day. It was back to back, year to year, and I loved every part about it. The fans were wonderful. The atmosphere is great. The hotel they kept us at might have been the nicest hotel they've ever kept us at. The area, the location. One of the trips I was there for Day of the Dead, and so my
yeah.
wife and I got downtown Mexico City during the Day of the Dead, so everyone's racing
No.
up. It was a big party. Yeah, I love fighting in Mexico City, and I can't wait till this COVID stuff ends so I can get back.
Did the altitude? I'm sure the altitude did play a factor, but you can go freaking 12 rounds. I mean,
Yeah,
I
so the first time I fought in Mexico City, it was on a month's notice. So I fought, and it's okay. It did affect me. I bought an altitude tent, and so now every camp I sleep at about 9,000 feet. So I fought in Mexico City. My next fight was in Colorado. Less than a year later, then I fought in Mexico City again. And so now every fight I have, whether it's sea level or in the mountain, I spend all camp sleeping in an altitude tent.
wow, that's man. I think you're one of those people that look forward to the training camps and getting in the gym, man.
You know it. I'm always in the gym, but it's like Christmas. Every time my wife says, "Hey Sam, we got a fight offer," yeah, it's like Christmas. I get to unwrap my present. I get to watch all the videos. I get to see who's fought, who I'm gonna fight, where I'm gonna fight. It's as much fun as a guy can have.
Well, let me ask you kind of a funny question here. What would you rather have right now if they offered it to you? A title shot or a fight against Mark Goddard?
Hey, both would be good. Both would be good. But I always say after I rip into City, I'm sure he's a great referee for everyone but me. He's wonderful, best in the business, blah blah blah. But he has boned me twice.
Yeah, big time. We call here. He got you right in the old prison pocket, man. It's just bad. Um, and then when you're in Australia, is it true that a fan screamed "kick him in the dick" and that's what made you guys start laughing in the middle of a fight?
Yeah, yeah. I actually, so I'm on TikTok now. It's the greatest of all social media. I love it. Just today, I reposted the kick him in the dick um, clip. Dylan Andrews is my first win in the UFC against Dylan Andrews. And we were circling for a second, and the audience was kind of quiet. And then all of a sudden, some guy, kick him in the dick. And then the audience just erupted laughing. He and we had a moment, we kind of bumped knuckles. That was pretty funny. And then we kept fighting. But it always pops up. Once or twice a year, it'll pop up. People start tagging me in the clip again. but I always get the kick him in the dick comment. It was hilarious.
You got to get a T-shirt out there, man, that says that.
I
You know,
should.
you should. How's Sean Strickland doing, man? I mean, to come back from that, I know he's a buddy of yours out of the same gym, man. After that horrible accident, man, it was great to see him go in there, look great as he did. How's he doing, man?
Sean's doing great. He is the baddest dude around. He took almost no time off. I mean, he was out of that operating room in a cast on the mat doing what he could do. He's just unbeatable. He and I have some good rounds, and he beats me more often than I beat him. He's an animal. I look forward to watching him get that title belt.
Yeah, what a story! What a story from him. So we talk about the story. So I overheard you have 5 children.
I do. My oldest is 7,
Wow.
so it's a 7, 6, 4. Then I have 2 1-year-olds.
So you have twins.
Kinda. I'm a foster daddy. One of my 1-year-olds is a foster baby who I'm adopting. We should be adopting her within the next month. She should be legally an Avley. And then I have one biological that's 3 months younger than her. So we're always going to call them twins. We're going to treat them like twins, but they're not biologically twins.
That is just amazing. God bless you for doing that. There's just so many children out there that need homes, man. And I know the adoption process is not easy to go through, but yeah, man, God bless you for doing that.
Oh, thank you. As soon as she's ours, I think we're going to go for more. We're going to try and get more foster children and look for adoption always.
So you're going to start your own fighting camp then with just the Alvies.
My own football team. I need a football
There you go.
team.
That's awesome though, man. So one of my members, Jay Breezy in the DFS club, wanted to ask you, what was your toughest weight cut? Because you've been all the way from middleweight to light heavyweight. I mean, what was your toughest weight cut? Do you remember?
So I've got 2 of them. When I first started with the UFC, the Ultimate Fighter, I tried out for a couple different seasons, and every time I try out, they end up cutting my weight class. So I tried it at 205, they cut it. Tried it at 85, they cut it. So eventually, I said, okay, let's try 170. So I tried out at 70, and then they cut the 170 weight class. I said, all right, good. I didn't want to do it anyways. Then they called me a future season and said, hey, Sam, can you still make 170? I said, sure. And so I had 29 days. I cut 40 pounds. And I just started losing as fast as I could. And so that first one was rough. But the hardest cut I ever had was I lost that fight, the hardest cut. They called me and said, hey, Sam, would you accept this fight in 10 days from now in Poland? It's at 185. I said, sure. I cut 42 pounds in 10 days. And it was, I shouldn't have. That one was bad. And then I fought like I did. I fought terribly.
My God. I know that'll put some people in shock, man, to lose that much in that short period of time. That's dangerous.
That one was rough. I actually ended up missing weight that time. I missed by 1.5 pounds. So technically I only cut 41 pounds in 10 days. But yeah, it was a bad 10 days. My final cut, I took about 24 hours to almost make weight.
Wow. Now I'm 43 years old, man. I put on this COVID weight, right? I'm at the heaviest I've ever been. And my dumb ass, I'm going to go sign up. I'm in San Jose, so I'm going to go sign up over at AKA, right?
Okay.
With Cormier and them. They're going to kick my ass. Do you have any advice for me or anybody my age that wants to lose weight?
Yeah. Keep your hands up.
Yeah.
Most weight loss has to do with diet more than it has to do with exercise.
Okay.
So exercise is good for you, but it's the diet that's going to help with the weight loss. So look up George Lockhart. I'm actually a certified nutritionist through George Lockhart and his system. So if you look up the George Lockhart system, they will put you on the right direction to any weight loss, any weight goals that you have.
I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to need all the help I can get. That's awesome, man. So one time you fought 7 fights in 14 months. How is that even possible, man? That's insane.
Uh, that's only in the UFC. I've got 1 year where I fought 12 times in 1 year. Um, but yeah, in the UFC, I wanted the record. I really wanted that record, and I got close to it. And I got my last fight in those seven for camp. So I couldn't quite get the 7 in 1 year, but I got close.
That's amazing, man. And what cracks me up sometimes is when
Oh,
they
are you
get
still there, sir?
yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sam? All right, let me bring you out, then I'll try and bring you back
Yeah, I
in.
can hear you now. I think
Oh,
there's. I
okay,
think.
cool. Yeah, it's a little choppy. How about now?
Yeah, sorry. You can
Oh,
see
you're
me and
good.
everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can see you.
I hear you perfectly. I
Oh,
think
okay.
you're like 10
Okay.
seconds behind on me.
Okay. Yeah, it's my program sometimes it's not on par. Um just a couple last things and I'm gonna let you go. These kids, these debut guys, I feel like when they put them up against you, man, I see them make so many mistakes because the normal fan knows what your fighting style. It doesn't change. I mean, and to see these kids sometimes just walk in towards you with their hands down, with their chin up, I'm just like already before you knock them out, I'm like, I just gotta go like this because I already know the heat is coming. But what's next for you, man? When is your next fight? Because I want to see it, and I know lots of other people want to see you get back in that ring, that octagon.
Yeah. So I don't have anything lined up just yet. That last fight was actually the last fight on my contract, but we're talking to the UFC, and so we're gonna work and I get another contract. Um,
Oh, good.
but I'm going back down to 85. I will either stay at 205 to get a rematch with Da Un Young because that draw is sitting with me terribly, or I'm going to drop down to 185. I will be fine with either. I think my size is making it's got to be something. So I'm going to go back down to 85 and be a bigger 85 instead of a smaller 205.
Oh, nice, nice, man. You're gonna kill it in 185, bro. With your power and your chin, the best chin I've ever seen. You take a man. I don't know how you do it, dude.
Oh, it's
Like,
genetics. I wish I didn't test it so much. I wish I could. I wish I didn't have to have such a good chin. I got to work on that head movement, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I've seen you in like a couple fights ago. I saw you in you were in a standing arm submission choke, and the commentator's like, look at his face. He's turning beet red. I'm like, he's fine. Look at he's smiling. You smiled at the ref to let him know you're okay. Like, do they not know redheads? They turn beet red. Don't stop the fight, please.
Yes,
You know?
I'm a ginger. If I walk up a small flight of stairs, I turn red. It's just what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could hear the commentator saying that. I heard Joe and Cormier talking about it, and I said, "I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine." With Mark Goddard, he didn't recognize or care that I had my thumb up, so I didn't want to do the thumb up thing. So I locked eyes with the referee and smiled at him, let him know I was fine. Because I would have been pissed if they stopped that fight. Because I was fine. It wasn't choking me. It was just I was stuck.
Yeah, when you smile, dude, I lost it. I lose it a lot, especially when you smile at your opponents and you're at the face. You're just, I mean, smiling Sam, right? Do
Yeah.
you think that ever gets in their head when you're in there smiling at them, especially when you're in the heat of? I mean, you get that angry look, and I don't want to be on the opposite end when you have that. I'm gonna tear your head off look, but most of the time they're punching you and you're smiling at them. Do you think
Uh,
that gets in their head?
I think it used to. I don't know that it does anymore. I mean, at this point, if I'm fighting someone, they've watched all my fights. They've seen me smile at everyone. So I think they're probably okay with it or used to it at this point. But yeah, it used to. I know it used to mess with some people.
Could I could imagine. So guys, if you're watching this again, Sam was very kind enough to come on here and give us this fun, great interview. Real quick, Sam, I'm a huge fan of The Greatest Showman, and I heard one of your fights. You came out to one of the songs. I was like, okay, I'm not
Yeah.
the only one who likes those musicals.
Oh, I
But
love musical. My number one favorite movie of all time is Greatest Showman. Then it's The Matrix, but number three is Moulin Rouge. I love musicals. I do. Moulin Rouge. I have the entire soundtrack memorized. I could sing that cover to cover. Greatest Showman. I'm working on it, but I'm not quite there yet.
oh yeah, that's one of my favorites. I watched it with my wife, and we were just blown away by how great it was.
Oh yeah, and it did so poorly in the critics' eyes. The critics all scored it, the down thumbed it, and then it did really well in the box office. And Rotten Tomatoes had it up at like 85%, but the critics all had it at like 45%. But yeah, it was a wonderful movie. It just makes me happy every time I watch it.
Yeah, I mean, how can you? I mean, normally when critics give movies a thumbs down, normally they're going to be great. I mean, we all know that. Unless it's super artsy, they're not going to give it
Yeah.
a thumbs up. But where can we go, Sam? I'm going to pull up your website here because I want merchandise. I know everyone watching is going to want merchandise. I'm going to bring it up here. Um,
So which website now?
smilandsam.com. I'm going to bring
Perfect.
it up.
Yeah. That I just arranged for this to happen. So I've got two websites now. One is smilemma.com. That has more information about me, but smilandsam.com is where you can buy my merchandise. Merch and link in the bio. And I just got it set up like yesterday. So it's able to take orders now, and we're able to go live. So I hope you all go. I've even got COVID masks you can order on there.
I was
Um,
going to ask about that. Yeah. Please
Smile
tell
and
me they have
Sam,
a smiling face.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Awesome. I will be ordering lots of those. But yeah, this is where you can go, guys. Put in your email here, submit, and they'll get back to you. But where can they find you on social media?
I'm at Smiling Sam, Smilen Sam, and that's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Now is my jam. TikTok is the greatest social media that's ever been. I love TikTok. I'm having so much fun with that. So hit me up on any of them. I always respond. I love doing interviews. I love doing, and I love the fan interaction.
TikTok. Yeah, I always thought that was for like teenagers, so I'm gonna have to check it out, man. I mean,
It's so much fun. I just love it. There are people with so much goofy talents that go on there. It's just I'm addicted to it.
nice. Okay, well, I'll definitely check it out. Uh-oh. And one last thing. So this is my show. I say it's my show, Skywalker DFS, but this is
Okay.
the star of the show. His name
Uh,
is Schroeder Skywalker. So Schroeder does our picks for home run calls, for KOs, for everything. He looks like he's happy. But he wanted to say hi to everyone. He's a big Sam Alvey fan. Do you guys have pet?
yeah, I've got a Great Dane, a Cavalier King Charles, two Sphinx cats, and then one more cat. So
Wow.
we've got a few of them.
I saw the Great Dane on the Instagram. Now, do you sell merchandise for pets? That'd be awesome.
Man, I don't yet, but maybe I should. Yeah,
Man,
I'll
there's
look
a big
into that.
market there.
Yeah.
All right, Sam. Well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Again, thank you so much for coming on here, man. I hope we see you again. I'd like to interview you once you get another fight, man. I'm gonna hit
Okay.
you up, and hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, count me in. I'm game.
Nice, nice. Again, everybody, smiling Sam Alvey.
Hey,
Show him
thank
some
you again
love.
for having me on.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. Show him some love. Check him out on all his social medias. Go to his website, get his merchandise, guys, and that's it. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.